Good morning! Today we are going to be making homemade bagels, sourdough bagels. This is something that I have been super intimidated by for a long time because it just seemed like a lot of process and like the boiling, like you're boiling bread, what? I did not understand it. So last week when I had off for New Year's and Christmas, I decided to try them, and you know, if they turned out terribly, I'd throw them away. But they turned out really well. It wasn't as difficult as I thought it was gonna be. As long as you just follow the steps, it's actually really easy. And the reason I wanted to make them anyways was because I forgot to tell my husband when he went to Costco to get bagels, so we didn't have any and I was craving them, and I just decided to, hey, let's try it out. So we are making them again because we have finished our first round of bagels and I want more. And I want to show you guys that it's not actually that intimidating or difficult to make bagels. Is it a process? Yes, but not anything that you or I couldn't do at home. Really easy. So I made this dough last night. Another really awesome thing about making your own bagels is you know what's in it. I think there's only 6 ingredients. There's sourdough starter, honey, flour, salt, and water. So 5 ingredients. And there's not all the preservatives or extra stuff that you don't know what that is. And they taste even better than store-bought bagels. So this is our dough. It has doubled in size. I was kind of shocked with how like I'm used to bread just like going all the way to the top of my bowl and getting super big. And this one doesn't rise as much as like a bread dough. It's more dense because it's bagels. So don't worry about that. It rises. This is doubled in size. It's just not as big as I'm used to. Okay, so before we take the dough out of our bowl, I'm getting parchment paper and I'm gonna get a baking sheet and get those prepped. So then we're ready to put the dough on the baking sheet. And I got 2 baking sheets out. This recipe makes 8 bagels. And since I am still new to this is my second time making bagels, I'm gonna use 2 sheet pans because I just wanna make sure that when I get them on here, they're not going to all squish together and just be like a glob of bagel. So I want lots of space until I get more comfortable and I'm like, oh yeah, they're not gonna grow into each other, it's fine. So we're just gonna start out with 2 baking sheets. And then I'm also gonna spray it with some olive oil so they don't stick. Set these to the side for right now. Okay, so typically when you're working with bread dough, you want to flour your surface, but this one you do not want to. Do not flour your surface. Just dump this out onto your clean countertop. Okay, so we are going to shape our dough into kind of like a log shape. Kind of pull it out, and then we need to get 8 chunks from this for our bagels. The recipe I'm following says to have them each around 115 grams, so I have my scale out so we can measure how much they weigh. Okay, 115 grams, and then we are going to form this into a ball and just set it on our greased parchment paper, and we'll just keep going. Okay, these last couple are around 120 grams instead of 115, but that's okay. They'll just be slightly larger. I'm going to clean up our counter and we're gonna let these rest for 10 to 15 minutes just to let the gluten rest and form, and then we will poke the holes in the middle and form our bagels. While we wait for our bagels to rest, we're gonna preheat our oven to 425, and if you've watched my previous videos, you know, double check your oven before you preheat it because you might have something in there and then it gets destroyed. So double check your oven first. Now we need to form these so they look like a bagel. Example, putting a hole in them. So this is really easy. You just stick your finger right down into it and then put both fingers through on each side and just do one of these little barrel roll moves. The dough will stretch and the hole will be pretty big. And I would recommend getting it this big because the last time when I made these, I had the hole decently sized and I thought, oh yeah, that'll be perfect. But then once I went to bake them, it kind of smushed together and the hole was only like, it was super tiny or it disappeared altogether. So just from experience, I would say make the hole bigger because it will shrink a little bit. And I guess really the hole in a bagel isn't like the most important thing. Like it's, you know, if you don't have it, it's not that big of a deal. And then your cream cheese won't fall through the middle. So yeah, we just go through and do this on all of them. And I will have the recipe that I followed and used linked in the description below. So if you want to try these at home, you definitely can. Go to that website. I used it, I believe it was from Clever Carrot, because like I said, I have never made these before, so I wasn't gonna attempt to just wing it. But yeah, that'll be linked in the description if you want to try them out yourself. And then when I'm done with this step, we are going to cover them with wet towels, like a tea towel or a wet paper towel, and let them rest again for another 20 minutes. And then after that, we are gonna go to the boiling stage, which is honestly kind of fun. I am curious how many people have tried making bagels at home before. What was your experience? Put them in the comments below. I would love to see if you guys have ever tried making bagels, or if you tried it and you hated it, or you loved it, or you have tips and tricks that you would offer. I would love that because, again, I'm just learning how to make these. So if you have been doing it for years and you have lots of good tips, give them to me, please. I would love to have tips on how to make this process easier or different, or, you know, just switching it up. Okay, so we got the holes in all of them. I'm gonna get some wet paper towels and we will cover it for 20 minutes. And the wet paper towel is just so they don't dry out while we're letting them rest for another 20 minutes, just to keep the moisture in there. We are going to get our water boiling while we wait for the bagels to rest 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm also going to be making these everything bagel seasoning bagels. So I'm gonna get my seasoning ready for after we boil them. And you want to do this pretty quickly after you take them out of the water bath, so then the seeds stick to the bagels easier, because they're kind of a sticky texture right now. So while they're still kind of wet and warm, you want to get the seasonings on them. There's lots of different options for bagels that you could do. You could just do a plain bagel. You could do like an Asiago cheese bagel. I always love those. You could do fruit on top, like probably dehydrated strawberries or blueberries. There's quite a few options of what you could do. You could do like cinnamon raisin, that'd be good. So now that these are all covered in our seeds, we're gonna pop these in the oven for 21 minutes. And then after that amount of time, we will flip them over and bake them for another 1 to 2 minutes. All right, so our bagels are officially done. They look fantastic. They look even better than the batch I made earlier this week. They're a little more golden brown and they're super soft. I don't think I really did much different. Maybe I needed it a little less, but they look really good and they taste fantastic. So we are going to go ahead and store these. And I love eating them like I was showing with cream cheese and eggs, scrambled eggs with sauteed peppers and onions. That is my favorite way to eat a bagel, especially for breakfast. So I'm getting like some veggies and protein in with my dairy and carbs. And yeah, I didn't get to show you my entire sandwich because my toddler woke up and she needed mom. So I did eat that and it was delicious. One thing I want to show you, because I'm storing these in a Tupperware container with a lid, so it's gonna work just fine. But one thing that's really cool, my husband got me these reusable bakery bags for Christmas. One of them is in the freezer with another loaf of bread, and then this one I'm currently using for a loaf of bread that we're eating. And this is all 100% organic cotton, and then the inside is lined with beeswax, and it's supposed to really keep your bread nice and fresh and keep it, and so then you don't have to, you know, use Ziploc bags, so like the bread still looks really good. So yeah, I don't have to use a bunch of Ziploc bags. That's how I used to keep my bread, and I really love these. He just got them on Amazon, which is, I mean, Amazon just has everything, but they're super cool. If you are looking in the market for some reusable bread bags, I'll link them below. But yeah, I wanted to share that because I had never heard of this, and I just love them. And you can store anything in it. You can store a loaf of bread, bagels, rolls, hot dog buns, hamburger buns, croissants, pretzels. So it's really awesome. And it's nice and big. You could store a lot in there. So if I didn't have bread in here, I would be storing the bagels in here, but they'll work in this Tupperware container for now. And one really awesome thing about these bagels is they're smaller than like we usually would get bagels at Costco, which those are pretty big because everything's bigger at Costco. But I can actually eat like a full bagel of one of these and not feel bloated and super full. All the other bagels that I usually would buy, I would feel really full and like stuffed afterwards, so I could only eat like half. And these, they don't do that. I don't know if it's because the fermentation benefits of sourdough, I don't know. But yeah, that's just something I wanted to mention, that like these are smaller and you can eat a lot and they don't make you feel super full and bloated. Anyways, that is everything for today. I do have an ask that if you have made bagels before, please share all your tips and tricks in the comments below, because like, you know, this is my second time making them. So I'm really interested to get some more information from you guys. If you make bagels all the time and there's something I miss that you typically do, let me know, share it with everybody else. I'm sure other people would also love to know any tips and tricks. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and I will see you again next time. Thanks, y'all.